Today, we're going to dive deep into the American poultry industry. And, it's a world that might seem pretty straightforward. But as we'll see, the journey of the chicken on your plate is defined by this incredible and kind of surprising divide. It's a split that really impacts everything, from a farmer's entire livelihood to the choices you and I make at the grocery store.
So let's start with the number. $70.2 billion. That is the massive value of the U.S. poultry sector just this year. I mean, from chicken to eggs, it is the #1 protein source for the entire country. We're talking about an absolute titan of our food system. But here's the thing. Underneath that huge number, there's this really fascinating, deeply divided reality. The story of how this industry actually works, well, it's really a tale of two completely different worlds.
Yeah, the journey from the farm to your plate, it's not just one single road. It's more like a major fork in the road that leads to two totally distinct philosophies, two different business models, and, at the end of the day, two entirely different futures for farming.
So let's start right there, at that crossroads. The first thing you've got to understand is that this whole division in the industry, it really begins with a split in what we, the consumers, are looking for. So on one side, you have the massive industrial system that produces pretty much all the chicken we see in stores. We're talking over 99%. And on the other, you've got this tiny but really influential independent sector that's carving out its own unique space. And what's driving this? Well, it's us. Our demand is fracturing. You have the traditionalist group that values, above all else, consistency and a low price. But then there's this emerging conscious, especially with younger generations, that's creating this powerful new demand for things like ethical claims and total transparency.
Okay, so let's explore that first path. If you wanted to become a poultry farmer today, your most likely option is to get on the industrial superhighway. So, welcome to the world of contract farming.
Here's the basic breakdown of how it works. You can think of it as a kind of symbiotic relationship where the roles are super well defined. A huge company, they call it the integrator, handles all the variables: the chicks, the feed, the market. The farmer, or the grower, provides the fixed stuff: the land, the high-tech barns, and the labor.
Now, the main appeal of this entire model, it really boils down to just one word: stability. The integrator takes on the biggest financial risks for the farmer: the ever-changing price of chicken and the crazy volatile cost of feed.
But, and this is a huge but, that stability comes with an absolutely breathtaking barrier to entry. We are talking about $5 million.
And just to be clear, this isn't for some quaint little farm, no way. This is the price tag for a state-of-the-art, industrial-scale facility. It's a massive capital investment just to get in the game. And that reality really shapes who can even dream of becoming a farmer in this system.
Okay, so what about that other path? This is the entrepreneurial frontier. It's a high-risk, high-reward model for anyone who's willing to go it alone.
The entire game plan for an independent farmer hangs on this one critical idea: decommoditization. See, you're not just selling chicken anymore. You're selling a story, a brand, a set of values, something that justifies a much higher price.
And the difference in startup costs? It's just staggering. Instead of millions, the high-end cost to get a pasture-based operation off the ground is somewhere around $15,000.
This kind of model, using these mobile shelters out on pasture, it completely shatters that huge financial barrier to entry we saw before. It literally opens the door for a whole new generation of entrepreneurs who could never, ever afford an industrial facility. But here's the trade-off. There's always one, right? With all that freedom comes all of the risk. The independent farmer has to shoulder 100% of the market and feed cost risk that the industrial model shields them from. It is intense. But the potential reward? They get to keep the full retail value of every single bird they sell.
All right, so let's put these two paths side by side. This is where you can really see the fundamental trade-offs a farmer is forced to make.
When you lay it all out like this, you see two completely different business species. The contract farm is low risk and super high capital, built for massive volume, where the key skill is just managing the facility. The independent farm is high risk, low capital, and totally driven by profit margins, where the most important skill is marketing and sales.
So why does this all matter to you? I mean, why does this fork in the road for a farmer have any impact on us? Well, it's pretty simple. The path a farmer chooses directly shapes the options you find in the grocery store. You can kind of think of it like this.
The contract model is like a superhighway. It's incredibly fast and efficient at moving product, but there are strict rules of the road and a really high toll to even get on. The independent path? That's like blazing your own trail through the wilderness. You have total freedom, but you are completely on your own if you get lost. And just look at the difference in the financial outcomes here. A contract grower might only earn cents per bird in net profit, but an independent farmer selling directly to customers can capture the entire retail value. This huge gap in profit is a big reason for the price differences you see on the shelf.
So the big takeaway here is that every single decision made out on the farm, which path to take, which risks to take on, which market to serve, it directly creates the choices that you and I face as shoppers.
This timeline really shows the whole story. It all starts with one decision, a farmer's choice of business model. And that single choice dictates literally everything that follows, right down to the product that ends up in your shopping cart.
And that really leaves us with one final thought. The choices you see in that grocery aisle, they aren't just products. They're the finish lines for two completely different journeys. And every single time you make a purchase, you're basically casting a vote for which one of those paths you want to support.